Hey everyone, it's Joe again. I know I'm throwing a lot of information into these tiny 10-minute videos. I mean, I'm throwing things that you could have a 2-week discussion on per subject, or per video that I'm making, and still not cover it all. So I just wanted to go over, recap with you again just a little bit. This is video 3. Video 1 was more of a how this whole series of hell will go out. My plans for it, at least. Video 2 was, well, video 1 also had the 90 some odd verses that I am going to be using. Video 2 was about the tortures of hell and the reactions of those who actually go to hell. And even in one verse, it was Revelation 14:10. I want to make sure I gave you the correct scripture, about Christ's and the angels' reactions about mankind going to hell, because I want to make this extremely clear, because several people kept posting on my videos that I had told people that God sends you to hell. God does not send you to hell. We send ourselves. There is a huge difference between God sending you to hell and you sending yourself to hell. Alright? I mean, there is a huge difference. And I'm hoping to make that point in this video, and make it at least more clear of the understanding between the two. I mean, if God sent us to hell, you know, that's the act of Him putting us in hell. We send ourselves to hell, meaning we ourselves do things that put us in hell. God doesn't, oh, well, I don't like you, or you were sinful, so you're going to hell. He says, I provided a way out. Why didn't you take it? You know, it's like a man drowning in the ocean, and Christ is on a boat. He throws you the raft, and it actually lands around you. You know, a floating device. And then you take it and throw it back. And then you drown. Well, He didn't want you to drown. Christ didn't make you drown. You drowned yourself. I mean, you let yourself drown. So who's to blame? Christ on the boat, or you? The answer would be, of course, you. Just a recap of some stuff we went over. The tortures of hell. The whole video. You can watch it if you want for greater detail for every scripture used. However, I'm just going to go over the key points that it talks about the tortures of hell. First, that there is fire. The second one that we went over and learned about is that there will be mass wailing of the multitudes of people. Everyone will be gnashing of their teeth. The pain so bad. Will be grinding, you know, gnashing of the teeth. You will have the self-knowledge that you sent yourself to hell, and that you shouldn't even be there, and that you had a way out through Christ, but you refused His salvation. That God never wanted you to go to hell, and that you were now eternally tortured for eternity because something you did, not God. You'll have eternal pain in your forever, eternal, spiritual body. After Judgment Day, you will leave the outer rim, or hell as we currently know it, and you will enter into the deeper part of hell, or what is also known as the lake of fire. More detail between hell and fire we can go into if I have a few minutes. But you will go into the lake of fire for forever, and that will be your punishment from that point on. You will be in complete and utter darkness for eternity. Spiritual worms will be eating at you forever. And we went over how it's just not a single worm eating everybody, or like a big sea of worms that you're thrown into that's eating at you. But every person gets their own individual worm that eats at them for eternity. And then you will also have an extreme, never-ending thirst. Now let's go back and talk about, because we got about 5 minutes, about hell being two parts. It's kind of like a lake, and you got the shore. Hell's ever growing for the more people that go there. Pretty much everyone is on the shore. No one has actually gone into the lake of fire, which descriptions and everything about hell and the lake of fire was that the lake of fire is fire and brimstone. Brimstone being a liquid, which is sulfur. For it to be a liquid, it would have to be at a temperature of 832 degrees Fahrenheit, extremely hot. And that is the final punishment. Right now, everyone is in hell on the shoreline, if you will. We have two parables to look at for this. We have the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, which you can also go back to the Hebrew word Sheol, which video 2 went into detail about that word and a description of how it talked about 2 places in that. And then how Lazarus went to paradise, which was the second part of Sheol. And then you had Christ's parable of the wheat and the tares, how the tares were thrown in the fire, and how the wheat were thrown in a barn. But you do not grow wheat just to throw it in a barn. You use the wheat for stuff like turning it into bread, wheat products. I mean, come on, you just don't grow it, just throw it in a barn. The barn is not the final destination. Heaven, because the disciples went to Christ and said, we don't understand this parable. And he said, well, the barn is heaven. Well, that just tells us right there, heaven is not the final destination. It's a holding place. If heaven's a holding place, then where do the lost go? They also go to a holding place. Where? Sheol, which is also, the word hell. They're on the lake shore. They're not in the lake of fire. And then complete darkness. Well, I had a person ask, if you're in fire for eternity, how can you be in complete total darkness? Because fire gives light. Very good question. A long time ago, that was a question they couldn't really explain. But then, not too long ago, and you go look this up on Google and some science websites and magazines, there's actually a fire that burns so hot it's pure black. It's almost impossible to see with the human eye. It's so microscopic. But you got your red, your yellow, your orange, your white. Well, inside the white, there is a black, microscopic black fire that's growing. That's how hot it is. There are some videos that actually show black fire. So go look it up, Google it up. Eternal, total darkness while consumed in fire. And then, of course, like I said, the turtle, spiritual worm. You each get your own worm. If this was a place of non-existence, if hell didn't exist itself, if it was not located somewhere, if it was not a place, why go into such great detail about everybody getting their own worm? People used to say, well, that was just a description of what it feels like when you get destroyed. Well, then that would be one worm. Everyone feels the same destruction. The poof of non-existence. But everyone gets their own worm. See, a lot of people like to say, well, God doesn't send people to hell because that would just be a monster of them. Well, like I said, God doesn't send people to hell. And you can't say, well, each person has their own individual pain, feeling, or whatever, poof of a non-existence. Because then that would God be torturing each individual person differently. And it says that He's not a respecter of people. And there'd be God torturing people as they're being non-existence. See the cycle of non-connecting knowledge there that you're trying to apply? It doesn't make sense. But it says I have about 40 minutes left, or 40 seconds left. But I just wanted to recap video 1 and 2, just to give us a little bit of time to kind of understand everything, slow it more down, get a deeper thought. But this is a little description of those 2 videos. I might do a little description of some other videos as further as we go, just to make sure you don't get too much information hit you at once and you miss anything. Alright, well, 20 seconds left. God bless. Hope to see you at video 4. And see you then. Alright, bye-bye. And don't forget to post any questions or comments in the comment box. And mention to your friends to subscribe. Thank you.